Hello, good morning. This is another RedRoseAngling video. For today's session I'm back on another one of the Farnham Angling Society waters. I've come down to Badshot Lea Big Pond. For those of you who are members, you can probably tell I'm fishing in swim 45 and I've just had a fish already, so we'll get that one out of the water, get some pictures of it and show you what I've caught. Right, first fish of the session. He's quite a long, lean common of just over 15 pounds. There we are. Bit of a torpedo, this one. I've got the lovely Ash with me today, who's also a member of Farnham, so hopefully she can get herself a fish. And that's the other side. Quite a cool little fish, really.
Whilst taking the photographs of that common, the one remaining rod that was left in the water was away again. Ashleigh quickly got onto the rod and I slipped the fish back. This low scraper double mirror was the result, and only the second mirror that Ashleigh has ever caught.
So myself and Ashleigh are fishing just one rod each, which is the rules here on Farnham Angling. When you buy your ticket, if you've got a partner, you're allowed to put a partner onto your ticket, and you can fish one rod each, which is quite good of them, because it means whenever Ash comes with me, she can have a dabble at fishing herself. So fishing both the rods out into the open water. So yep, I put them both out last night. The weed has really gotten up from when I was last here. Anybody who watched my last video will have seen that I was here in May, and there was none of this weed here around the edges and on the surface, and even out in the main section of the pond the bottoms are a lot weedier now than it was back then. It's not too bad. About half an hour searching with a bare lead and then clipping a float on afterwards, and I found an area out towards those marker poles at 19 wraps where it was a lot clearer. It was going down with a bit of the thud, and it was slightly shallower there than it was around the rest of the swim, so it's a little bit of a shallow gravel plateau which I'm fishing to. Put 12 spods over the top. I just caught that fish now, so I've put another 6 back out. We're fishing alternate bites. Right, so shortly after putting some more spod out onto the spot, 1 or 2 dramas with the spawn, we've just received a double take. So this one went off first. This one was my fish. I haven't weighed it, but it's a low double. There we are. Nice, fully scaled. Just zoom that camera in a little bit for us, Ash. There we are. Only a small scraper double. A little fully scaled. Pretty awesome. Absolutely savage take. Almost pulled the rod in. Quickly flip him around, show you the other side. There you go, that's the other side. We'll go and get Ashleigh's fish out now. It's sat resting in the landing net. I think that one's a little bit bigger than this one. Right then, so you just caught yourself a new PB, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Go on then.
Only new to the sport, so this is actually my new PB at 15 pounds.
Very nice. And what was the bait again?
Again, I'm doing well on the tiger nuts today.
Another fish fall into the tigers, quite a nice little common. Just go on the handheld for a sec. We'll have a look at it. Nice fish. Go on then, flip it round, let's see the other side. There we are, that's quickly the other side. We'll get a few still pictures of it and then we'll pop it back. Hold on, Ash. that's the goodness that I'm putting out. Pellets, maples, tigers, hemp, corn, and 2 different types of boilie from the mad bait range. There's also a few bits of hemp in there as well. Right, just about to redo both the rods now and put some more bait out, so I thought I'd just quickly show you the rig I'm using. So I'm using a section here of about 50 centimetres, maybe 60 centimetres of tungsten leader. To that I have a little sinker and a Corda no trace safety bead, and that's to one of the Corda heli-safe clips at the end, so I can drop the lead on the take and keep the fish away from all of this weed in the margins. The end section, anyone who's watched my videos before will see that this is what I tend to go for. It's a little short section of crimp boom material, a tiny bit of putty around the top crimp, and one of the old faithful yellow mad baits pair drop pop-ups. I've actually mounted that different to normal. It's on one of the D-rig kickers, and the reason I've started doing this now on all the rigs is because I can switch that from a pop-up. I can just remove the putty and swap it to a wafter if I want it to sit like that, or I can swap it to a bottom bait and fish it straight on the deck. Just fishing that little kicker on the end there gives you much more of an option. When it comes to hook bait, you can switch them up a lot easier, and all you have to do is take on a little piece of putty. I've got that top bead not very far up at all, maybe 4 inches. It's very hard where the spot that I've found out there, it's quite a good thud down, so just enough to lift up and give me the proper presentation. That's exactly the same rig I'm using on the other rod, except on the other rod I'm fishing 2 tigers on the end, which I've drilled out with a bit of 6mm nut drill, and I've plugged them with a little bit of cork, so they are sat to be wafting like that just off the bottom. But yeah, exactly the same setup minus the putty, and 2 tigers on the end. So let's get these back out there, get some more bait over the top. Hopefully something will happen.
The next hour passed quickly, and with no more bites forthcoming, it quickly became apparent why. The climbing temperature had triggered some of the carp into spawning, and as you can see from this footage, they clearly weren't going to be interested in feeding. Usually the carp are under enough stress during this time, so I decided to leave them to it and move to another water where the fish weren't spawning. This has happened to me the last 2 times I have visited Badshot Lea, and both times I've been really into the fish and having plenty of action. That's what's great about the Farnham ticket, is if something like this occurs on your session, you have a book filled with other fantastic fisheries that you can visit. That's why I make the long trip down from the northwest of England, and on this occasion I decided to check out another Farnham water, Tarn Pond. Whilst I was busy packing up, we did receive another take, Ashleigh managing to add another nice mirror to her photo collection.
Of course, I went to the toilet, came back, and Ashleigh has just informed me that she had a fish in the net. Netted it all by herself, pulled it back through the weed like a pro. Well done, Ash.
Good bite.
Look at all that green algae. Horrible. Yeah.
Paranoid swan.
You
Give
won't
the
have it.
babies, give the babies some.
They're missing it all, it's all sinking. Old Mr. Robin Redbreast. It's after the leftover sweet corn, I would guess. Been quite a lot of wildlife here actually. There's been a mouse that visited me and actually chewed through my food bag, so I'm on the lookout for him in case he comes back. £17 too. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Tarn. I've just got off the mark and opened my account on this stunning lake with this lovely 17-pound heavily scaled mirror, if you can see it properly there on the camera. Got to the lake quite late last night. Was struggling to get into the swimming time. Would have been happy if I'd have caught one fish, having never been here before, so brilliant to be away at first light, and this was the result. Here you are, guys. That's the other side. Just as nice as the first side. Hopefully you can see the mist still burning off the lake in the background. But I'll get some stills of this, and then I'll slip it back, and I'll talk you through what rigs and what bait I'm using to catch this fish from the Tarn here on Farnham Angling Society. Happy days. Thank you, my love. You'll see me using this rig in pretty much all my videos. It's pretty much my go-to rig on anywhere that I fish, really. It's a short section of crimped boom material down to one of the corded D-rig kickers, and on that I've got a couple of balance tigers which have been drilled out, and you can just see there's some 6mm cork pushed in between the two, so the hook will sit on the bottom like that, and the tiger's just wafting above the hook like that on the bottom. And yeah, I've had some brilliant hook holds using this. It's barbless only here on Farnham, so that's a size 4 curved shank barbless hook through to the leader on the chod release system. And that's what I've been using on this session. Sometimes I might change the hook bait from tigers, I might change it to a little pop-up, and if I put a little pop-up on, I keep exactly the same hooking arrangement, but I just put some putty on this end here so that it will sit like that. Guys, yesterday was a very mixed day of emotions here on the Tarn. I had a fish in the morning at first light, that lovely mirror that I showed you, and then unfortunately over the next 24 hours I actually lost a couple of fish. I suppose that comes with the territory when you snag fishing, and it's just something you've got to get used to, but it's always hard not to be super critical of yourself and wonder what it is that you're doing wrong. One of the fish actually got me straight into the back of the snag, and I went in there in the waders to retrieve it, and the rig was just left in the back of a tree, so that one got away. And the second one, I actually got it out of the snag and I had it in front of the net. I didn't actually see the fish, but it was in front of the net and the hook pulled, so I don't know what it was that I lost, which is probably a good thing. I would say it felt quite big, but they always do feel big when you lose them. But I've made up for it this morning. I've just caught a fish now. It's not one of the big fish. It's only a baby, but it's another fish from the Tarn. So I'll just get that weighed up, get some photos done, and then I'll show you what I've caught. Here we are, guys. Only a little baby. There we go. Second fish from the Tarn. Sun's terrible. There he is. Nice little mirror, just into double figures. So that just came, the fish you just saw came on the left hand rod, which you can't see, but just around the back of this tree here and around the corner there's a little section that juts out, and I found a nice spot around the back of there. It looks like fish have been visiting it, been baiting it with particles and using the tiger nut rig that I showed you earlier. The right hand rod, pretty much a known spot I would guess. Around the back of this tree there's a little cutout, and there's a huge snag bush that's hanging into the water. So I'm fishing the right hand rod around there into the snag bush, baiting it in the same way, using the same rig. I'm having to actually walk out in the waders and drop the rig in and feed over the top of the rig, which is great because one, it means you're guaranteed you're not tangled and you've got a good presentation, and two, it gives you that little extra edge when it comes to actually finding clear spots in amongst this this really silty bottom.
At around midday, after a couple of bream and losing what felt like a small tench, I decided to reel in and rest the swim. I knocked up a fresh batch of feed and added more larger food items, in this instance boilies and tigers. I like to do this after catching a few smaller fish. It ensures that there's some fresh bait in the swim and stops you being cleared out completely by nuisance species.
Rain's just come in now on the Tarn. Still see the mist there rising off the lake. Right, coming towards the end of the session now. Got the bivvy packed away, just got the 2 rods left in for the last hour or so to see if there's a chance of a last minute bite. Mixed emotions really about the session. If someone had told me that I was going to come here having never seen it before and land a couple, I'd have been really chuffed, but I've lost a few as well, and I don't like losing fish at the best of times, and I'm always super critical of myself when it comes to losing fish. I think if I was to come here again, I'd keep everything the same, but I would definitely look at my hooking arrangement, especially the hook length material and the hook I'm using. I'd keep all the baits the same, I'd keep the tactics the same, because that's working. I'm getting the bites, I'm just losing the fish, so I need to have a think about that and then decide what I would change if I was to come back, which I will be doing. On a side note, I've picked up loads of discarded line around this swim, to the left, to the right, to the back of the swim, even in some of the trees at the back. There's loads of line been left around, and bits of litter and stuff as well, which I've picked up and put into a bag. So just be mindful, guys, when you're fishing. You know, if you see any line around or anything, get it picked up, because it's not good for everyone else, and it's not good for the wildlife either. So just a side note for the bailiffs or whoever, if they're watching this, to keep an eye out who's been in the swims and who's leaving loads of litter and line around. Once again, thanks to everybody who's been watching my videos. I've been really chuffed to be receiving loads of messages and people contacting me on Instagram and Facebook and social media and stuff, saying how much they've enjoyed the videos, and that's always good. It makes it worthwhile, and obviously encourages me to make a few more of them. Hopefully next time I do the video, I'll have somebody who's going to be fishing with me, so they can get a bit more footage other than just a vlog, which is all I'm able to do at the moment because I'm by myself.
A few days later, while being down south for work, I returned to the Tarn for a quick overnight in an attempt to settle the score. The atmosphere and surroundings of the Tarn really had left an imprint on me, and I just couldn't wait to be back there. I had a few days to think about correcting the issues with hook pulls whilst sticking to the barbless rule. This time I'm pleased to say the averages were much more in my favour, with 3 fish hooked and 3 landed, as the changes proved to be effective. Again, at first light, I opened my account with a stunning Tarn comment that fought like a lunatic from start to finish. Although I didn't film this fish, I managed to get some epic photos with the morning mist in the background.
Right, I came back to the Tarn to get my revenge on the ones that evaded me last session. This time I came armed with the German rig and made a few changes, and this is the second one so far, 2 from 2, so nice to get back to winning ways. Yeah, this 19 pound 4 mirror was the second fish of the morning, so hopefully we might get 1 or 2 more. We'll just slip this one back. I'll quickly show you the other side. Yeah, that's the other side. Stunning fish. I've treated him with some carp care and we'll put him back in the lake, and hopefully somebody else will be able to catch him very soon. Well, not the one we were after, but it's another one on the German rig. Lovely little fish, will be a nice fish in the future probably. Immaculate little common, but it's nice to know the bait's working and the rigs are working. Quickly let you have a look at the other side. There you go. Full of energy, scraps like a demon for a little one.
Near the hands. Do you want me to pull it from the front?
So time had run away with itself again, and I left the Tarn with a heavy heart and happy memories. It's in my plans to return for another session next year and perhaps get to meet one of its big residents. Thanks to everybody who has taken the time to watch this video. Please leave a comment and hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos.
Wherever you are fishing, I wish you all tight lines and the best of luck. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Yeah.
Paranoid swan. Give him a bit, chuck him a bit. Little babies, give the babies some.
They're missing it all, it's all sinking.